Any other question?
Hello. Bhante. Regarding to 5 khandhas, only human have 5 khandhas or all the beings in the existence have 5 khandhas?
The 5 khandhas is basically body and mind. The 5 aggregates, body, feelings, perception, volition and consciousness. The last 4 is mind. So 5 aggregates means body and mind. Now, all beings must have a body and must have a mind. Why? Because all beings must have consciousness. And consciousness must reside in the sense organs. Yeah? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So all beings, whether devas or ghosts or humans or animals or hell beings, all have a body. Okay? Recently I've been giving talk about the soul, and some people disagree that there's such a thing as soul. I also used to think that there's no such thing as a soul because of the wrong understanding of the word soul. If you look into the English dictionary, soul is defined as the spiritual part of man, often assumed to be immortal, eternal. But there's only an assumption, not necessary. The Christians believe that the soul is eternal, will never die. But in Buddhism, everything is impermanent. So if you look at the 5 destinations of rebirth, where we are reborn again and again, out of these 5 destinations of rebirth, only 2 have the body, the physical body, the flesh body, only 2. That is, humans and animals. But you find the other 3, devas, devis, ghosts, and hell beings, they don't have a flesh body. But they have a body. That's why in heaven they can enjoy, they can fly. In hell it's because they have a body. That's why they can be tortured, they can be cut, they can be burned and all that. So these beings without the flesh body, they are actually existing as a soul. They have 5 aggregates. Devas, heavenly beings, hell beings, and ghosts. They are spirit. Spirit is the soul. That's why in the suttas it is said, if a person's karma is so heavy that he is destined to be reborn in hell, the moment he dies, hell beings come up and drag him down to hell. So what are they dragging? They're dragging his soul. They're not dragging his corpse.
There's a question from the floor. Luang Po, can you please explain in detail what is vipassana and vipassana meditation?
Don't get angry if I... Years ago, they translated vipassana as insight. But in the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said 2 things, 2 conditions give you insight knowledge. One is samatha, one is vipassana. So when you practice samatha and vipassana, the result is insight. So how can vipassana be insight? Yeah. In the Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 43, it is said to become the lowest Arya, you have to get the first factor of the Aryan Eightfold Path, and that is right view. Once you get right view, you have entered the stream, and the stream means the Aryan Eightfold Path, and you have become an Arya. So Majjhima Nikaya Sutta 43 says there are 2 conditions basically to get right view and become an Arya. One is the voice of another, meaning the voice of another teaching you the true Dhamma, the original Dhamma. Because the Buddha said, fake Dhamma one day will appear in the world. So the other condition is focus attention, yoniso manasikara. Because there's a sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 46.38, where the Buddha said, if you listen to the Dhamma with eager ears, attending to it as a matter of vital concern, directing your whole mind to it, on that occasion, the 5 hindrances are eliminated, and the 7 bojjhanga, factors of enlightenment, are developed fully. So when you listen to the Dhamma with a focused attention, the 5 hindrances are not there, and the 7 factors of enlightenment are there. That means you can understand, you can become an Arya. No? Yeah? And then that sutta also says, after you have attained right view, you have to practice 5 other factors or conditions to bring you to enlightenment. And these 5 is Sila, moral conduct, Dhamma Savana, listening to Dhamma, Dhamma Sakacha, discussion of Dhamma, and then Samatha and Vipassana. This is what the Majjhima Nikaya 43 says. After right view, practice 5 things. But in the Aryan Eightfold Path, after you get right view, you have to practice 7 things to become enlightened. Yeah, which is right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So, the 5 conditions in Majjhima Nikaya 43 is equivalent to the 7 remaining factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path. Now, if you look at the 5 conditions, Sila, what is Sila? Sila is not harming others through body, speech and mind. Yeah? And that is right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood. So these 4 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path is Sila. Okay? Which means you have how many left? Right? View plus 4 conditions is 5. So you have 3 left, isn't it? Which is right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Okay? So these 3 is equivalent to, after Sila, we have Dhamma Savana, Dhamma Sakacha, listening and discussion of Dhamma. And then you have Samatha and Vipassana. Now this listening to Dhamma and discussion of Dhamma is mindfulness of Dhamma, which falls under right mindfulness. Yeah, right mindfulness, you have to be mindful of 4 things. The body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. Now Dhamma is so important that in this Sutta 43 of the Majjhima Nikaya, to get right view and become the lowest Arya, you need to listen to Dhamma. Now to become an Arahant, you again have to listen to Dhamma and discuss Dhamma. So you see how important Dhamma is. That's why if a person is not familiar with the suttas, he cannot even become the lowest Arya, cannot become a stream enterer, and no way can become an Arahant. Suttas are so important. That's why the Buddha calls his monk disciples, nun disciples, layman disciples, lay women disciples, all are called savaka, listeners or hearers. And in the suttas, the Buddha said, if you don't listen to his words and attain stream entry, you're not a Buddhist at all. The Buddha said you're a bahiro, external sect follower, wai tao. So, Dhamma Savana and Dhamma Sakacha falls under right mindfulness. What do you have left? Samatha and Vipassana. Samatha is right concentration. So Vipassana is what? The other 2 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path, which is right effort and right mindfulness. So right effort and right mindfulness is what you practice outside meditation. Because in the Majjhima Nikaya, Venerable Ananda was asked, what type of meditation is praised by the Buddha? And he said, the first jhana, the second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Only this is Buddhist meditation. And he also said, the type of meditation, if you practice, you do not eliminate the 5 hindrances, is not praised by the Buddha. Now this has 2 implications. One is that only the first, second, third, fourth jhana, you eliminate the hindrances. Only by attaining the jhanas, you eliminate the hindrances long term. And this is confirmed by another sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. So when we meditate, we must get a hold of our mind. Most of us, our mind is very scattered. We don't have control of our mind, As Hokkien says, your tongue, your sai, thinking east, thinking west, running all over the place. This is actually the asavas. Asavas is the tendency of the mind to flow. And this tendency of the mind to flow is so strong. When you are not doing anything, you start thinking. And then when you want to sleep, you have to shut off this computer. Otherwise, you keep thinking, you cannot sleep. Yeah, and it helps if you exercise. If you exercise, you are very tired at night. Then you fall asleep. But the moment you fall asleep, it flows again. You start dreaming. You see. So it is this world is created by consciousness. Even now, quantum physics is saying that. Quantum physics is saying that the whole world is in consciousness, just like a dream. Even the material, the physical part of the world is all consciousness. A lot of people don't realize, they make a lot of distinction between mentality and materiality. Nama Rupa. Actually, if you examine carefully, the material world, Rupa, in the Buddha's teachings, is earth, water, fire, wind. Earth is the hardness, perception of hardness. Water is fluidity. Fire is heat. And wind is motion. These four things are actually perception only. Why? Because you see like this wall, this brick wall, you see it's hard. But to a ghost, it's not hard. It just flies through the wall. Yeah. So it's your mind that makes this hard, and it's also your mind that makes it soft. So even the physical world is all part of consciousness. So in meditation, we practice jhanas. The aim of meditation is to attain the jhanas. Because the Buddha said, there are 5 things that envelop us, hindrances. These hindrances, the Buddha said, are causes of blindness, making us unable to see the Dhamma. That means if you can't see the Dhamma, you cannot get right view. Obstructing wisdom and leads away from Nibbana. So if your 5 hindrances are... Okay, so I was saying, samatha is practicing meditation, and that is trying to attain the jhanas, so that we get rid of the 5 hindrances, and then we can get right view. And vipassana is right effort and right mindfulness. And this right effort and right mindfulness is what you practice outside of meditation. Because outside of meditation, you meet with a lot of problems. People make you angry. People make you sad. A lot of problems arise in normal everyday life. That is the time to practice vipassana. Vipassana means contemplation. In Chinese, samatha and vipassana is called chirkwan. So vipassana is contemplation. In Chinese, we say nei guan. Why nei guan? Because we are mindful of our body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. So the purpose of being mindful of these 4 things is to use it to practice right effort. Right effort is siu sing way. Cultivation of our character. Samatha is cultivation of our mind. So samatha is very difficult to practice. So because of that, people created this vipassana meditation, which is not found in the suttas. There's no such thing as vipassana meditation in the suttas. There is vipassana, but not vipassana meditation. It's like there is jhana, but there's no such thing as vipassana jhana. Okay.
Bhante, there's a question from our teachers, our Dhamma school teachers. Okay, the question is, some of the teachers will say practices of meditation supersedes all other Dhamma-related work. Meditation most important compared to other Dhamma-related work. Example given, contributing your services or Vayavacha, service to monks or temple or Buddhist center, teaching Sunday Dhamma school, going for pilgrimage, listening to Dhamma talks. So of course meditation is mandatory to Nibbana as the way to end of all suffering. So the question is, what is the most wholesome way to spend our time according to Buddha's teaching?
If we want to be happy in life, we have to have blessings. And blessings, the Buddha said, can be cultivated through three things. Dana, Sila and Bhavana. Dana is charity or generosity, helping others. How can we say, Ului should lui, ulat should lat. Yeah? But this is the easiest to do, because most people, you have extra money, you take a bit to do charity. Yeah? You are not like Bill Gates, 95%. Yeah? Most people, even 5% also susah. Yeah. So because of that, Dana, the merit is not very great. Especially if you give to Putu Jana. If you give to Arya, it will be more. Higher than that, the blessings is Sila. Sila is harder to do. Not to kill. There are 7 precepts that are important. The Aryan precepts, 3 body and 4 speech. Not to kill, not to engage in sexual misconduct, and not to steal. And then 4 verbal, not to lie or cheat people, not to carry tales to cause disharmony, not to engage in coarse or foul language. And 4th is not to engage in idle gossip. So this is the Aryan precepts, 7 precepts. You get this from the Aryan Eightfold Path. The last one, Bhavana, is the hardest to do, so the merit is the highest. And Bhavana is the last 3 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path, namely right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So these 3 factors, the last 3 factors of the Aryan Eightfold Path, is Samatha and Vipassana. So Samatha and Vipassana gives you the highest blessings. So it is not only meditation. Meditation is only Samatha. Vipassana also you need to do, which is in everyday life. You look inside, look for your faults and try to correct your faults. Correct your temper, correct your arrogance, correct your selfishness, etc. And cultivate wholesome qualities. So this will give you a lot of blessings. Bhavana, development of character and development of the mind. But even though it gives you a lot of blessings, your blessings still limited. For example, external ascetics during the Buddha's time. Some of them could meditate so well, they had psychic powers. But still Putujana, still have to come back. So the highest blessing, actually boundless blessings, is to become an Arya. And to become an Arya, you have to listen to the original suttas. Original suttas, listen again and again and again. And then slowly, the jigsaw puzzle, all the pieces come together and you can get the overall picture. Today we brought about 50 SD cards and the players. We are selling them below our cost price in the hope that you all can become stream enterers. Only 10 ringgit for the player and 10 ringgit for the SD card. So if you become an Arya, your blessings is boundless, so you'll be alive. And actually it's not difficult to become an Arya. Just need to listen to the suttas again and again. We find in the suttas and the Vinaya books that thousands of people, sometimes they come to see the Buddha for the first time. And the Buddha spoke the basic 4 noble truths to them. Just the basic. And just understanding that, the Buddha said they had entered the stream. At one time, 120,000 people. Another time, 80,000 people. These people are not scientists or doctors or professors or anything, They're just ordinary people. And then we find in the Vinaya book, there was a time when the Buddha's disciple, Devadatta, because the Buddha, he wanted to take the Buddha's place. He asked the Buddha to step down. He said, let him take the Buddha's place. The Buddha scolded him so strongly in front of all the monks. He got so angry, he wanted to kill the Buddha. So he tried a few ways. One of the ways, he asked a few men to go and kill the Buddha. He asked the first person, he said, you go to such and such a place in the forest, Samana Gotama is there. You kill him and you come back by this way. Then after this man had left, he asked 2 persons to wait for this man and kill that man. Then he asked 4 persons to kill the 2, asked 8 to kill the 4, asked 16 to kill the 8. So they went off. The first person came to the Buddha. He was surprised. The Buddha was sitting there waiting for him. So he guessed the Buddha must know what he's up to. Threw away his weapon and asked for forgiveness. So the Buddha said, never mind. Sit down, I will teach you the Dhamma. Buddha taught him the Dhamma, same Four Noble Truths. He attained stream entry. And the Buddha told him, you don't go back by that road. 2 men are waiting to kill you. Then he ran away. Then the 2 men came, same thing. They saw the Buddha, they got frightened, bowed to the Buddha. And the Buddha asked them to sit down, taught them the Dhamma, they attained. Then 4 people came, attained. 8 people came, attained stream entry. 16 also attained stream entry. You see, these people ready to kill somebody, still can attain stream entry. You're not a killer, ma. Surely you can attain. Even the worst case, Angulimala killed 900 over people. Then the Buddha saw this person probably was an ascetic in the previous life. So the Buddha knew if the Buddha taught him the Dhamma, he can attain stream entry. So the Buddha went up the hill. He tried to kill the Buddha. He could not come near the Buddha because of the Buddha's psychic power. Then he asked the Buddha to stop. Then the Buddha stopped, turned around and told him, I have stopped, you have not stopped. Then he got surprised. He thought, why? The Buddha said he has not stopped. He asked the Buddha why. The Buddha said, I have stopped from killing beings, from harming beings. You have not stopped. Then he threw away his weapons and bowed to the Buddha. And the Buddha taught him the Dhamma. He attained stream entry and then became a monk with the Buddha. If he had not attained stream entry, it's not possible for him to want to become a monk. Yes or not? Killer, man. How can a killer want to become a monk? It's only because he understood attain stream entry. So you see, to attain stream entry, you don't even need sila. I heard some people did not believe when I quoted the Sarakani Sutta, where the Buddha said, a person who used to drink liquor by the name of Sarakani, he listened to the Buddha's Dhamma, and after he died, the Buddha said he's a Sotapanna. And some people could not believe. They said, he drinks liquor, 5 precepts also cannot keep. How to become a Sotapanna? What is drinking a bit of liquor? Drinking a bit of liquor is nothing. Killing somebody is something. Even killing 900 people also can become a stream enterer. Why? Why cannot a person drink a bit of liquor, become a stream enterer? Yeah? So to become a stream enterer, you must get rid of your mind that you need sila. If you have sila, it's easier. But there are some people, their blessings is so great from previous life. Even they don't have sila, they still can become a stream enterer. Each person is different. Okay? Firstly, when you want to do dana, don't think so much of the merit that you get, because if you have that in mind, there are some people, they only want to give dana to famous monk. When I was a young monk, I was looked down by people also. So you give where it is needed, that would be the best. Yeah. The Buddha said, when we do dana, we should not make a wish. Oh, may I get this in return and that in return. The Buddha said that is selfish. When you have a selfish thought, your blessings is lessened already. Just like some people, they give, they do some charity. They want the reporter to take their photo and then put up in the newspaper. Then your blessings is less already. So you, if you give where it is needed, that will be very good. But at the same time, the Buddha said long time ago, he was a rich Brahmin by the name of Velama. He did a lot of charity, so much that it amounted to 84,000 buckets of gold, 84,000 buckets of silver, 84,000 buckets of precious stones, and the animals also are so much, and the food and the drinks he gave flowed like the river. It benefited so many people. But the Buddha said, unfortunately, at that time, there was no person with right view. In other words, no Arya, no Arya to receive the offerings. The Buddha said, if he had just, at that time, fed just an Arya, for example, a stream enterer, the merit would have been more. But when you listen to this type of sutta, you must not think, I must look for an Arya. Okay?